probably it's not shown so much that it needs its own. So if we wanted, we could just have another thing open at the bottom, so you click on it and it takes you to web to order, just like if you were going to here, so wouldn't be much of a click. My idea is to be able to think about this from a project level of takeoff, and then to be able to go to an elevations page. From being able to work in that kind of a way, what I would do is a very, how do I say this, a very limited amount of takeoff. So my thinking would be that we would take something like what we have. So anyway, you can click on something to see what it is. But what I would do is I would go, this is fast and easy to be able to generate takeoff data and information. From there, you can see all the quantitative results for that. We can follow up and do more in the area of this kind of thing if you like, but I'd like to continue down the path of the Industry 4.0 wood.
Okay,
that brings us to
that stage. Are you moving to a different computer?
Yeah, that would be my thought. And again, I'm kind of thinking as we're talking through, but my thought at this point is that the second station would be the organizer. And so this is the organizer of WoodCAD CAM. I can now select and see all of the items. Notice that there's costing values, and so then we would go to a report that we might want either for internal calculations of all the information that came from the takeoff, such as all of the materials, sheet stock, the edge banding, all of the hardware, and even the manufacturing costs, so the labor and all of those kind of things. So my hope is that I'll have a report soon that this would be the internal kind of deal, and then an external that would be a report that would be more along the lines of what they would send to their customers. Okay, so my idea.
So you've covered screen 1, and we're going left to right. You've covered screen 1 with on-screen takeoff, and you're now at screen 2.
Yeah, and so then this would be screen 3. So I would start off with, this is WoodCAD CAM. You can quickly and easily be able to draw walls, be able to place cabinets, do whatever it is that you like to it. We generate, let me get my go-to-meeting out of the way. We generate from that 3D model all of your 2D shot drawings. They're completely linked to it, auto-dimensioned, all of that kind of stuff, so that you can have beautiful, looking drawings. You can see these in a paper space environment, your own title blocks, line types, all that kind of stuff. And then, if you wanted to mess around in a viewport or something just to be able to show somebody, but literally, I haven't done much at this stage. Not only would WoodCAD CAM be good for the configure to order kind of things that other systems do, but I just want to take a second and show you the power also of the software in being able to do other kind of things. I'm just going to draw an AutoCAD for a moment, and I went 30, 15, 15, 15, 45, and let's close. And again, this can be any shape or anything that you want. But just so that you can see, I'm going to tell, I haven't had a error like that in a while. So I'm just going to take this AutoCAD object. I have no idea what's wrong with my WoodCAD CAM at this moment. I've never actually had it do a fatal error, but we'll have to open it back up. I just picked a job that I had in my system from the past for this morning's deal. So my idea was that we would already have something where walls and cabinets were drawn in the 2D drawings, and then I would make that stair-step product. You know what I'm talking about? And then
Yes.
change the
Yes.
angle on it. I can show you one that's got that in it if you want to see, like if I go here or here. Yeah. So this. So if you can imagine, the 3D work was done, so then I would engineer this product in like literally 30, 40 seconds and show that it was in it. So that would be, to me, the third station that we would have. and then the fourth station. So I did a little bit of work in it, not much, but I did a little bit of work in it. And then I would take from the cut right side of it, and I would bring in a selection, maybe even modify the materials or whatever we want to do. I was thinking that we would make it applicable for whatever people did. So if it was just nesting, I wouldn't have to do anything. But if it was both nesting and optimization, then we would be able to show them something like this and to be able to process via cut rate. If you get what I'm saying is there's almost no button, so then here's the saw results, here's the nesting results. So there's almost no buttons, and you can, I can import that same one again and again, so I can have something that is really nice and reflective of that. So that took me through the first 4 stations with some cool things being done and not many buttons being pushed. That makes sense?
I understand, yes.
Very good. Where I'm struggling is that I had the kitting station as the station that was to the, if you were looking into the booth, it was the one just to the right. What I'm thinking about doing is moving that one on down closer to the wall, because I would think about starting this way with saying, here's how you bring a project into Production Coach that came directly from your design software, whatever that is that we're talking about with them, so that they would see that it was here. And we'll see that it's ready for production, nothing's happened. We can see that its status, no production has been done. We can see all of the sub-assemblies and hardware required for the project. And then I walk them through the things you can do in the software, like driving into the details of the product, being able to see it in the image, being able to see its details, being able to mark a product or a part as damaged, to be able to see those part alerts, and to be able to make decentralized decisions about what to do with those. Being able to turn things on and off, or being able to get the kind of viewing we want, seeing the hardware for the total product, and then being able to work at any kind of a level to change the status to something, being able to take and to work at a level of changing multi-statuses at once. So I'm going to tell these that they're shipped. I'm going to select all of these. These are loose items that don't get part of assembly. And I'm going to tell these that I want these to become part of a kit. And so now if we wanted to look at this from a shipping report, we would see that we have now scanned onto the truck, blah, blah, blah. This, and these haven't been scanned on, and that's because their status here hasn't been changed. We could look at it from the kit label, and I still want to do this in a print preview, but I haven't been able to yet, so that we can see now the kit label for this that's generated, so that we can scan it onto the truck to verify that everything has been loaded onto the truck. So now, again, we're doing this one manual just for a moment, but we'll see that this will set to ship. So if we're back over in this place, we will see that it's made it through these processes. And obviously, from being able to work on this, we would now see that the statistics have taken care of all the stuff that we need to be able to do. And so we're in a good position. The only thing that was, because we had a damaged part that wasn't done, so we could tell it that it was corrected, and so then our shipping report will reflect all the things that are showing it perfect for it. So that works out really nice to be able to do. I want to take you to a different configuration real fast, and we'll look at it from a kitting station. And man, it did it to me again. That is a really strange thing. I got to have Jonathan fix something. That order that I brought in is disappearing from the list. And so it isn't going to matter for this kind of a deal, I don't believe, because, oh, I know what I wanted to do. I wanted to sign in into 004 anyway. Okay, so in this case, what I needed to have done, Raj, is, I apologize, I didn't get set up for you. Does it allow me to do this? Okay. What I have to do, and I'm trying to do this in more than one station. I won't have to switch at the show, right?
Right.
But in this case, I need to be able to import 004. There it is. So the cool thing is we get to delete it and re-import it anytime. So now that we have this, I can sign into Production Coach Kitting. So now I have in front of the, we have parts. So now I'm in front of the kitting station. And so I scan a part label. Oops, it's supposed to be here. So we'll now see, if I scan this, there it came in, 2, 3, and so on and on through this until it gets all of the parts that are being staged into this, and then of course it turns green. I can scan other products as well, and you'll see that. I also have the ability, if I want, to be able to do things like, I know that this product, I want to relocate to this rack for whatever reason, or I have a situation to where I want to be able to tell the bins that a product, as in this particular one, is going to require 2 bins for the number of parts. So now I can be scanning these into either of these 2 bins. They're counted as one. And so something like that relative to the kitting side of things. And then I would move on to the product label. Sorry, I fell off my desk. And so I also want you to see that we can wand the barcode of any product label. I didn't have to even be on that job. And notice that if I was created at this station, that product now became automatically kitted by scanning just the barcode label of it. I can scan another one from a different job, and you'll see that happened with Blackwell 2. But now that particular product has been done, same kind of a thing for another one. There's a product, and it's kitted. And then the final thing that I want you to see is here is a scan for a kit. In some cases, our customers want to be able to load products onto pallets, shrink wrap it, make a label, and scan it onto the truck so that it's automatically counted. So that is kind of the thought of the rest of the stations, and that's putting kitting at the end instead of at the beginning. I know you don't kit before you ship, but I feel like that there needed to be a station for that initial explanation of production coach before we got to kitting.
Well, I think that kitting is going to be confusing because we're using the same words for 2 different types of kitting. One is,
I think that we call it sorting.
Huh?
The actual name, I'm just using it because you did, but the actual name that we believe is appropriate is this is called sorting, not kitting. Kitting is when I'm making a kit like this and have a label for that kit.
Okay, sorting is, because what happened is the styles referred to it as kitting, and they're down the road with that because they did that with their previous product.
Yeah, I just think it's a bad term. I think it is confusing to be able to say, kitting. But in essence, you're putting a collection of parts in one area, putting them together. So, I mean, kit is not a horrible term. I just felt like we needed a difference in term of people sort parts all the time. Some of them are, because they're custom items, they're going to go over here. Sometimes they sort by edge band. Sometimes they do whatever. In this case, we're sorting by all of the cabinet parts. And once they've all been sorted, then it turns green.
I understand. But once all of the parts have arrived for the article to be assembled, it turns green.
Yep. And so then one button, and you can see the reverse side, which is the second monitor.
Okay. All right. So I don't think you can get away with having just a touchscreen monitor. You're going to have a keyboard and a mouse.
I believe at some of the stations that's correct. And with Production Coach, I'm not sure that I need anything other than touchscreen monitor and a scanner. Actually, my thinking is that when I was back here and I pushed this button, it would actually print that label.
So we would have a printer there?
Yeah, one printer.
And that's for the product label?
That's for a kit, or it could be a product label. Either one of these two, if we need to generate a product label. I have product label here when I've probably already generated product labels from the office. So I don't know how often Jonathan says that his customers like to be able to have it so you can be at an info or a scan kind of a deal, but apparently when he just thinks that it's not a bad idea to just be able to click that button, get the label, and stick it on the product.
Well, in the demonstration, they had the product label being printed right there at the assembly place.
That's what Styles did for sure.
I don't, I think the thing is, okay, so at station 1, which is on-screen takeoff, or it could be converted to some sort of point-of-sale system, that's going to require a keyboard and a mouse. Yes?
Yes.
Okay, the second station is WoodCAD CAM. No question, it's got to have a mouse and a keyboard.
Well, the second station is the organizer, but still, yeah, it's going to be better to have a keyboard mouse there.
The third station, I thought is the third station WoodCAD CAM, or is it CutRite?
Third station is WoodCAD CAM.
Okay.
So here's just the screen for you.
Say that again?
So on screen, here's the screens for you. On-screen takeoff, the organizer, WoodCAD CAM, CutRite. That's the first 4 stations. That takes up the whole left-hand side of the booth.
Okay. So then we have the reception desk,
Yeah.
and then we're going over into Production Coach.
Then we're going into Production Coach, and what I said was before in my layout, I had it in a way. I'll flip to. Wasn't that one that you did? If you see right here, I had this kitting station, the next one, but I'm thinking that I moved this one down to where kitting is, and kitting as to the far right.
Possibly add another station, another monitor.
Yeah, I might have enough room to have a single monitor.
A single monitor, that would be the office.
Yeah. But anyway, this was just to give you an idea of what I was thinking. I know you're thinking about different and back wall and that kind of stuff, but I don't think that you had an idea of how few of a clicks I mean, like, I think that anybody on our team could literally walk someone from left to right.
Well, I mean, I'm not taking that for granted. I'm saying to you, Sean, that they can't do it until they do it.
Yeah.
I'm telling you, they need to get there. They need to practice it. They need to, learn how to walk and talk. And they're used to sitting down in a chair, studying the customer's face and talking. They're going to be looking at a monitor, not looking at the customer's face. I mean, I'm not saying, I'm just saying it's an acclimation thing that they're going to have to get used to. Also, this is going to have to be one network, correct?
No, it actually doesn't. There was not one thing that I did that was actually taking the same job and pushing it through the system. If we want to show somebody how to do, I mean, real live kind of and customized to what they want, then I think they come inside of the booth and we sit down, and that is then my kind of a demo.
Okay, so these are all self-standing computer systems.
The thing that they could be. I mean, what I'm saying is I didn't actually send anything from on screen to the organizer. It was already there. So they could be the same computer if we wanted. I mean, it could be just one computer. It doesn't even have to be separate computers. It's just displaying what you want on the screen. You can split your screen, right? So I have one computer for the first two and one computer for the second two.
Okay, I got
and
that.
Then I have
you're showing a program on one screen, another program on another screen, and it's all being run on one computer.
Yeah. So I probably do need a computer for kitting.
Sorting?
Yeah, sorting, sorry. So, but one computer could, if we're going to add another station for the office, that one computer could do the, actually to do a split screen though, I can only have one. So I got to have a computer for the office, got to have a computer for sorting, and then a computer for that last station. I don't know, it's completely different than I've ever seen anybody do for software in our industry. Whether that's good or bad, I'm not sure. But boy, if you want to paint the picture of Industry 4.0 wood, that's a 10-minute tour that takes you through a lot of possibilities.
Okay, so how do we disable a guy walking the aisle from grabbing the mouse and starting running the program?
I don't know if there's anything he could do to mess anything up. We have so many people that are going to be there. There could be somebody that is the guard of each one. It's like, I don't know exactly how it's going to go, but I think people are not going to know that this is a procession, and they're going to come up at any place. They're going to be just standing looking at stuff, trying to figure, and so having people that are capable of walking them to the initial station, and then we do a walkthrough of it. Maybe we even do this thing every 15 minutes. And in the meantime, somebody comes up, we're being chatty with them, getting their information, and letting them know that they can watch the show and coming up in 6 minutes.
Well, I was thinking more about that if we did that big tower of screens and had you do the power demo, do one of those like once every hour, and then the walkthrough, we could put signage either on the floor or on the, somewhere near the kiosk identifying what they're for, and we can say, we can have an arrow pointing in the direction of it and just call it, here's the getting business department, the engineering and department, the manufacturing administration department, sorting department, shipping or whatever, and then make them understand that we're full boat, all one system. There it is, demonstrating from start to finish.
Yeah, I haven't even thought about graphics or any of those kind of things yet. It was just kind of getting to the point of how much room do we have, how many stations do we need, what should be shown at them, and can we come up with a way to, flow the data. When I was thinking about having to do this for the IWF judges, I was, certainly thinking that I was going to have to show them the same. I was still going to mock it, but there was going to have to be a lot of setup done, and that was going to be interesting, but it still is almost doing exactly what we were talking about before. We just didn't have, at the time we started out the Industry 4.0 stuff, we really didn't have that much information, Coach. To me, in this situation, if somebody said, I'm doing residential, I use cabinet vision, I'm happy with